The Age of AI Warfare, South Korea's Strategy for Survival. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a time when the nature of warfare is changing at a speed unprecedented in human history. In the past, wars were determined by numbers of soldiers, firepower, and conventional weapons. But the wars of the future will no longer be decided by such simple calculations. Artificial intelligence, robotics, drones, cyber warfare, space technologies, and hypersonic weapons are rapidly becoming the deciding factors in military dominance. And South Korea, perhaps more than any other nation, stands at the heart of this transformation. The Korean Peninsula is one of the most volatile security zones in the world, where the interests of global superpowers collide. The critical question is this: how can South Korea not only survive but also protect its security in such an environment? Let us take a closer look at the path forward. The defining features of modern warfare can be summarized in 3 words: hyperconnectivity, hyperintelligence, and hyperprecision. Artificial intelligence is no longer a tool that merely assists humans. It is becoming capable of making decisions faster and more accurately than humans themselves. AI systems analyze battlefield conditions in real time, calculate countless variables, and propose optimal courses of action, fundamentally changing the pace and dynamics of war. At the same time, drones and robots are performing missions too dangerous or complex for human soldiers, reducing casualties while maximizing efficiency. Low-cost kamikaze drones or drone swarms can overwhelm and disable advanced defense systems, making them a powerful asymmetric weapon. Space, once considered separate from war, is now a critical domain where satellites function as the eyes and ears of military operations. Cyber warfare, capable of paralyzing power grids and financial systems with a single strike, can decide the outcome of conflict before the first shot is fired. The battlefield of the future is no longer confined to land and sea, it extends into the skies, outer space, and the invisible realm of cyberspace. South Korea's security challenges are uniquely complex. Just across the border lies North Korea, a state armed with nuclear weapons and a growing arsenal of asymmetric threats including drones and cyber capabilities. At the same time, neighboring powers, the United States, China, Japan, and Russia, are investing massive resources into hypersonic weapons, space militarization, and AI-driven combat systems. In such an environment, South Korea cannot rely solely on its traditional, manpower-heavy military structure. Conventional strength alone will not be enough to guarantee survival in the wars of the future. What, then, should South Korea's strategy be? First, the nation must actively adopt AI and unmanned combat systems. Given our limited manpower, technological superiority is the only way to overcome the imbalance. Manned-unmanned teaming, in which piloted aircraft command squadrons of autonomous drones to break through enemy defenses, must become a core capability. Unmanned ground vehicles and naval drones should be developed for reconnaissance, supply, and combat support. Anti-drone technologies, such as laser weapons and jamming systems, must be rapidly deployed to counter North Korea's increasing use of small drones, while offensive drone swarm capabilities must also be enhanced. Second, space security must become a national priority. Independent reconnaissance and communication satellites are essential to maintaining 24/7 surveillance of North Korea and ensuring stable command and control during crises. A dedicated military space operations unit should be established to strengthen situational awareness and develop the ability to respond to threats in orbit. In the wars of tomorrow, those who dominate space will dominate information, and thus the battlefield itself. Third, cybersecurity is perhaps the most decisive factor in South Korea's survival. A crippling cyber attack on our power grid or financial systems could bring the nation to its knees before a single weapon is fired. Therefore, South Korea must rapidly train and deploy elite cyber specialists and build comprehensive defense systems to protect critical infrastructure. At the same time, it must not stop at defense. Offensive cyber capabilities capable of disrupting enemy networks and communications are essential for deterrence. Yet adopting advanced weapons is not enough. South Korea must develop an independent defense technology ecosystem. Our strengths in AI, semiconductors, and telecommunications must be transformed into military applications. A robust system of cooperation between civilian research institutions and the military is critical, ensuring that cutting-edge innovations can be rapidly adapted for defense. Nurturing defense startups and providing them with resources and testing grounds will accelerate the pace of military innovation. This is the essence of what has been called Defense Innovation 4.0, and it is the only path to true technological sovereignty. Finally, we must focus on human capital. Advanced systems are useless without highly trained personnel capable of operating them. The structure of our armed forces must shift from a focus on sheer numbers to one centered on specialized technical expertise. Military education must include AI, cybersecurity, and space science as core subjects, and partnerships with universities must be expanded to cultivate next-generation defense talent. As the battlefield becomes increasingly software-driven, our weapons systems must be designed for continuous upgrades, ensuring long-term superiority. Ultimately, South Korea's survival depends on securing technological sovereignty. Simply importing weapons from advanced countries will not be enough. We must develop our own AI, drone, space, and cyber capabilities, and adapt them to our unique military needs. The paradigm of national defense must shift away from traditional, hardware-heavy power to asymmetric, technology-driven power. Only then can we withstand not just North Korea's threats but also the military competition of the great powers around us. Ladies and gentlemen, the battlefield of the future will not be won by numbers or brute force. It will be won by those who control technology. If South Korea invests boldly in innovation, strengthens cooperation between government, military, and civilian sectors, and prepares strategically for the wars of tomorrow, we will not only survive but emerge as a nation that leads in peace and security. This is the path South Korea must take, and it is the reason we must act now, with vision and determination.